Privilege speech number 379, delivered by Representative Rolando M. Valeriano on September 3, 2024, that called for an inquiry in aid of legislation on asserting the power of the purse of Congress, and motu proprio inquiry on the failure of the Department of Education to deliver computer units in good condition to end users, and other issues plaguing the agency's budget utilization.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Representative Joel Chua to sponsor the report, Chairperson of the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability.
The Chairperson of the Good Government and Public Accountability Committee, the Honorable Joel Chua, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, Speaker, Majority Leader, Minority Leader, to the members of the 19th Congress and my fellow public servants. On behalf of the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, I have the privilege to present to this august chamber the committee report on the inquiry conducted by the committee on the utilization of confidential funds by the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education. On September 10, 2024, privilege speech number 379, delivered by Representative Rolando M. Valeriano on September 3, 2024, was referred to the committee. It called for an inquiry in aid of legislation on asserting the power of the purse of Congress and reining issues on the utilization of confidential funds by the Office of the Vice President. In the same vein, the committee decided to conduct a motu proprio inquiry on the utilization of public funds by DepEd, including its failure, the failure of the DepEd to deliver computer units in good condition to end users, as raised by the manifestation of Representative Jervil Jingy Bitric Luistro during the hearing of the Committee on Appropriations on September 2, 2024. The Committee on Rules gave permission on the conduct of the motu proprio inquiry on September 18, 2024. The committee conducted a total of 8 public hearings held on September 18 and 25, 2024, October 17, 2024, November 5, 11, 20, and 25, 2024, and December 9, 2024, attended by and participated in by officials of concerned agencies and stakeholders. The committee terminated its determination on June 4, 2025. May I now present the salient points contained in the committee report number 1503. May I request the Secretary to flash to the screen the PowerPoint presentation. Let us now focus our attention to the report, to the consolidated findings from inquiries into confidential fund utilization by the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education, covering the period calendar years 2022 to 2023. As revealed during the committee hearing, the OVP received 500 million in confidential fund and 112.5 million for DepEd, for the total disbursed of 612.5 million of confidential funds under the directives of the Vice President. The OVP spent 125 million in 11 days, averaging 11.36 million per day in 2022 alone, covering the period from December 21 to 31, 2022, and was issued COA disallowance notice. This is the only and first Vice President to request excessive amount of confidential funds in comparison with the past Vice President. Unauthorized activities fund use for purposes unrelated to agency's mandate. Next slide, please. In the draft committee report, the following matters were exhaustively deliberated upon. Number 1, obstruction of inquiry. Number 2, misuse of confidential funds. Number 3, interference and bribery. And number 4, systemic flaws in the Joint Circular 2015-01. And based on these findings, we obtain from testimonies, submitted documents, and observations from members. Next slide. With respect to the first committee findings, the obstruction of inquiry. It stemmed from the refusal to answer key questions, officials from OBP and DepEd, which claim no knowledge of the actual usage of the confidential fund. Secondly, the unjustifiable attendance. Vice President Sara skipped multiple hearings, labeling them as political theater, and issued travel orders to invited officials as excuse for their inattendance to the committee's hearing. Number 3, claim national security and executive privilege to justify non-disclosure of recipients and payments of confidential fund. The misuse of confidential fund, the submission of spurious and questionable acknowledgement receipts were established, dubious or fabricated with fictitious, repeated names, similar handwriting, and predated and antedated acknowledgement receipt. We received a certification from the PSA claiming that no such name exists, the name that were mentioned in their acknowledgement receipt. Next slide, please. The misuse of confidential funds. The OBP does not have a national security mandate and use confidential funds on programs, activities, and projects not in the PFP. Improper delegation of SDOs. The confidential funds were turned over to unbonded security officers not officially designated as SDOs upon the instruction of the Vice President and was given full unilateral discretion for its disbursement and liquidation. The confidential funds were used for expenses other than confidential expenses and was unjustifiably exorbitant, excessive, extravagant, and or unconscionable. Example are the payment of rewards, medical and food aid, payment of incentives, or travel relative to confidential operations and rentals of safe houses. With respect to interference and bribery, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker, the suppression of documents. Attorney Zulaika Lopez, the OBP Chief of Staff, tried to block COA from releasing documents to Congress during the budget deliberation in the Committee on Appropriation. Undue influence, OVP officials meddled in DepEd affairs, forced resignation of undersecretaries. Cash envelopes were received by DepEd officials involved in the disbursement or liquidation of confidential funds, which raised bribery concern. These were admitted by 3 DepEd officials. Lastly, the systemic flaws. Loose guidelines, the Joint Circular 2015 of the COA-ICPAO was exploited due to weak scrutiny and verification. It was admitted by the auditor that they only received the acknowledgement receipt receipt which were submitted to them, but they did not scrutinize it carefully and verified. Insufficient bondings. The SDOs lack adequate fidelity bonds for funds handled. The committee made the following actions. To prevent future misuse and obstruction in the handling of confidential funds, the members of the committee filed the following measures on December 11, 2024. Number 1, the House Bill number 11192, entitled An Act Regulating the Allocation and Utilization of Confidential Intelligence Funds, Imposing Penalties for Misuse and Misappropriation. Number 2, House Bill number 11193, entitled An Act Regulating the Special Disbursing Officers and Imposing Penalties for Misuse and Misappropriation of Funds. The committee made the following recommendation. With respect to the legislative reform, number 1, it is recommended to amend Joint Circular 2015-01 to improve utilization, reporting, and auditing of confidential funds. Number 2, limit which agencies can access confidential funds by allocating cap. Set stricter SDO qualifications and stronger penalties. Number 4, amend Secrecy of Bank Deposits Law to allow COA and Congress access with safeguards of accounts under investigation. Number 5, review SALN rules for disbursing officers. With respect to the legal action, to file cases against officials for the following. Number 1, technical malversation under Article 220 and 217 of the Revised Penal Code. Number 2, falsification and use of falsified document under Article 170 and 171 of the Revised Penal Code. Number 3, perjury under Article 183 of the Revised Penal Code. Number 4, bribery and corruption under Article 210, 211, and 212 of the Revised Penal Code. And number 5, plunder under Republic Act 7080, betrayal of public trust and culpable violation of the Constitution. Thank you, and I fervently request that the plenary will adopt the committee report, its finding, and recommendation.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the findings and recommendations contained in the committee report number 1503.
There is a motion to adopt the findings and recommendations contained in the committee report number 1503. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The findings and recommendations contained in the committee report 1503 are hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended.